Unit 13 of International Financial Management, that is related to foreign market entry strategy and country risk management. Before discussing this, let me first tell you what will be the learning objective of my class today. After discussing this class, we can identify the motives of the company to invest overseas. That means why companies go international, we can identify it. Then we can understand the market imperfection theories. We can describe the strategies followed by MNC to avoid the barriers of entry. We can understand how to enter into foreign market. What are the strategy in which a company can enter into foreign market? We can access the economic and political factors underlying country risk. We can identify competitive advantage a firm must have for maintaining and protecting the competitive advantage. We can know the cost and benefit of foreign direct investment for home country as well as host country. We can know this. Now please see what is an MNC. Please, a MNC is a large company. A MNC is a company that operates in multiple countries. Normally, a MNC have place of business in many countries and it has assets, operations, subsidiaries in several parts of the world. It can have assets in different country. It can operate in one country and sell in another country. It can set subsidiaries in different countries. So MNC is a transnational corporations. MNCs are also known as international corporations and transnational corporations. Normally, they operate in a centralized management structure. They operate in parent-child model. What is parent-child model? There is a parent company and there are different subsidiary company. Parent company and there are different subsidiary companies set up in different countries. These subsidiary company are known as child company. So parent company and child company or subsidiary company or holding company in different countries. In this model, the MNCs operate. Like in Pepsi is the parent company Pepsi USA and the child company or subsidiary company in India is Pepsi India. Examples of MNCs are many like Coca-Cola, Amazon, Tata Motors. These are one type of multinational company. Tata Motors is one Indian MNC. TCS is one Indian MNC. Infosys is an Indian MNC. Next, why do firms internationalize? What are the reasons why firms go to international markets? What are the reasons why firms internationalize? First reason is raw material source. Many companies go internationalize their operation in search of raw material. They are raw material seekers. Let's take an example. Many steel companies of the world are trying to set up place of business in India because in particularly in Odisha, Jharkhand, because there is ample raw material available for their steel companies. Iron ore is available in Odisha, in Jharkhand. So they are coming to India, Odisha or Jharkhand in search of raw material. Next one is market seeking. What is market seeking? Many companies, many MNCs go to different countries in search of new market like Sony, IBM, Gillette, Volkswagen. They go to different markets, McDonald's, Unilever, Coca-Cola, Procter and Gamble. They go to different markets. So they want to enter into new market. They want to expand their operations. And in search of new market, MNCs internationalize their operation. Next one is cost minimization. We know that there are two ways of achieving profit. One is increasing sales price, another is reducing cost price. So MNCs normally operate on the model of minimization of cost. They want to produce in that country where factors of productions are available at cheap rate. Like you can see that many garment or apparel manufacturers set up their plant in Bangladesh because they get cheap labor. Many MNCs set up their production base in China because cost of production is minimum in China. That is known as for cost minimization. This is the third reason because why companies go internationalize. Next one is knowledge seeking. In search of knowledge, people go to different countries. Many electronic companies go to Japan to know new technology, new way of doing business. Okay, knowledge seeking. Next, to serve the consumers better that have been relocated abroad. Let's take an example. Kia Motors is a company. It started its operations in India. That means it started its manufacturing base in India. The Kia Motors, there are many raw material suppliers to Kia Motors, the spare part suppliers like Dahia, Uyong. These are the companies which supply raw materials or ancillary products to Kia Motors. When Kia Motors shipped to India, these companies also shipped their production base to India so that they serve their customers, that is Kia Motors, better. This is the way why companies relocate their operation or why they internationalize their operation. Next, we will discuss theory of multinational corporations. We will discuss different theories of MNCs. Normally, we do that. There are two important theory of MNC, that is product and factor market imperfection theory, and second one is financial market imperfection theory. These theories tell why companies internationalize their operations. First theory is there is a difference between product and factor market throughout the world. Okay, same product is not available throughout the world. Same product is not sold throughout the world. The product choice of different countries are different. The labor cost in different markets are different. The interest cost in different markets are different. So due to these difference, companies want to take benefit of this difference and they internationalize their operation. This is known as product and factor market imperfection. The following imperfection induce an MNC to internationalize their production. What are the imperfection? Product differentiation, intangible capital, that is trademark and patents, marketing expertise, proprietary technology, managerial know-how, supply chain management, better access to capital, government imposed restrictions. These are the things which give special advantage to MNC so that they want to invest their operations, they want to start their operations overseas. Next, financial market imperfection. What is financial market imperfection? Throughout the world, financial markets are different. Financial market may be money market or capital market. Capital market is a market for long-term funds, whereas money market is a market for short-term funds. The interest rate prevailing in different markets are different. So companies can borrow or lend their money not at same interest rate. They can borrow and lend in different interest rate. In order to take benefit of this, many companies internationalize their operations. Next, we will discuss what are the strategy of multinational enterprises. How multinational enterprises strategize their operations. On the basis of strategy, we can classify MNCs into three categories. There are three broad categories of MNC on the basis of strategy. First one is innovation based MNC. What is innovation based MNC? These MNC invest heavily on R&D. R&D means research and development. They focus their operation on innovation, starting something new, making new, so that they can get the competitive advantage in their industry. These MNCs are normally operate in high technology based business, high tech operations such as biotechnology, information technology, pharma, and their success depends upon their ability to develop new product, new technologies. If they produce, if they innovate new products, if they introduce new technology, they will get competitive advantage so that their operations will be throughout the world. They can make global operations. Example of MNCs which focus on innovation like Apple, like Google, like Amazon, they focus upon innovations. Apple has introduced many products, iPhones, iPad, MacBooks. Google has given many offerings, Google Map, YouTube, Google Notebook, Google AI, Gemini. They are introducing new things. Every day they are introducing new things so that they will get competitive advantage over their competitors. Amazon, it has introduced Amazon Shoppings, Amazon Cloud, Amazon Digital Streaming. They introduce new products so that they sustain in the global market. Second type of MNC is mature multinational. What is mature multinational? First, MNC is innovation based in MNC. Second is mature multinationals. These companies are already mature. Mature means they have taken the economies of scale. They have their production based in different countries. Now they do not want to encourage any competition like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Nestle. They have operations in different countries, Procter and Gamble, so that they want to create entry barriers. So the advantage, competitive advantage remains for a longer period of time. So how they do this entry barriers? Through the principles of economies of scale. They produce in large scale so that cost is heavily reduced. They spend a lot on marketing and advertisement to bring their brand value, to differentiate their products, and they want to maintain their competitive advantage. Okay, this is known as mature multinationals. Okay, next one is, so they mature multinational wants to take benefit of economies of scale and economies of scope. They want to take the benefit of learning curve, that is improve with practice. They make cross investment. Next and third type of MNC is sentient multinational. What is sentient multinational? These multinationals have already developed a new product, enter into different markets. Now they think that their market is begin to diminish. When the competitive advantage of large multinational in their product lines or market begins to diminish, they adopt various strategies. One of the most important strategy is to enter into new market where their product is not explored much. Like many Indian companies are now entering into African markets because African markets is much more underutilized. Okay, Starbucks. Let's take an example. Starbucks. Starbucks has opened round about 2,000 outlets in USA. Then the market is saturated in USA. It went into different countries like India, China, and opened 6,000 more stores. Now, much of its revenue comes from international operations. Next, designing designing a global expansion strategy. How to design a global expansion strategy? There are 5 important elements for designing a global expansion strategy. First element is awareness of profitable investment. The company has to aware what are the profitable investment available to it. The profitable investments may arise due to two things. One is due to economies of scale, another is due to economies of scope. So, what is the difference between economies of scale and economies of scope? Economies of scale arises due to producing large quantity of a particular product. When you produce large quantity of a particular product, per unit cost reduces. That is known as economies of scale. What is economies of scope? Economies of scope arises due to production of 2, 3, 4, 5 joint products simultaneously, so that the joint cost is divided between different products and you enjoy the economies of scope. Economies of scale arise in one product, but economies of scope arise in joint production of many products. Okay, so when you analyze a international investment, you have to analyze it in terms of the NPV generated by the company from different countries and from different products. Second strategy is selecting mode of entry. Once you decide this strategy, next you have to decide the mode of entry. What will be my mode of entry? The mode of entry into foreign market may be direct export or through contractual basis. Contractual basis like licensing, franchising, we will discuss all those things. What type of entry you should select? So before deciding the entry, you have to audit the effectiveness of entry modes. First, you have to select the market entry, then we have to audit the effectiveness of market entry modes. Then you have to use appropriate evaluation criteria. What will be my evaluation criteria of international projects? And next and last step, you have to estimate the longevity of competitive advantage. You know that when you enter into international market, you get some sort of competitive advantage. But you have to estimate up to how many times this advantage will last. That is known as longevity of competitive advantage. These are the 5 steps strategy you have to develop before entering into a foreign market. Next, strategic entry into international markets. Now we will discuss what are the entry modes, how a MNC will enter into a foreign market. There are different ways of entry. First way is exporting. This is the most common way of entry into international market. What is exporting? There are 2 important modes. One is exporting, another is contractual modes of foreign entry. These are 2 important modes of market entry: exporting and contractual mode of foreign market entry. First, we will discuss regarding exporting. Exporting is a straightforward and a low risk way of market entry into international markets. Firms can export their products or sell directly their products to international market. The export may be direct export or indirect export. What is direct export? When the export is made directly between importer and exporter, that is known as direct export. What is indirect export? When the export is made through some intermediary like export house, that is known as indirect export. So the MNC can adopt either direct export or indirect export. However, exporting is the less expensive strategy of foreign entry, where and it is also less risky. If you want to test the foreign market, before entry you can go for a exporting of your product in a limited sense. So exporting is the less risky way of entering into foreign market. Apart from exporting, there are contractual entry modes. What is contractual entry modes? Contractual mode of foreign market entry refers to business agreement between companies that operate in different countries. So by make some agreements, you can enter into foreign markets and you can make money in foreign markets. So out of these contractual entry modes, the most important methods are licensing, franchising. We'll discuss what is licensing, what is franchising, and other modes. Licensing means you give license to a foreign player to sell goods on your behalf. That is known as licensing. Licensing is an agreement where firm licensor, it's a foreign company, grant a foreign entry or license the right to use the IPR, his name, such as patents, trademark, copyrights, in exchange of royalty and fees. Okay, so in this case, a foreign company will allow you to use his name, allow you to use his intellectual property rights like patent, trademark, copyright, and you can use this and produce the product and sell it in your own name. That is known as licensing. But the licensing mode has its own difficulty. First difficulty is quality control. There will be no control over licenses production operations. If the production is not up to the quality, then what will happen? Your name will be at stake. Therefore, companies go for more stringent way of agreement, that is franchising. Franchising is a case where the firm sell in the name of the particular exporter. In licensing, franchise, the person sell in his own name, but franchising, it sell in the name of the exporting firm. The franchising firm grants a foreign entry right to use its business model, brand, operating system in exchange of fees and royalty. Example, McDonald's, Subway, Pizza Hut, they enter in Indian market through franchising model. We do not call it as any other store, we call it as a McDonald's store, Subway store, Pizza Hut store. But these are operated by some local player, but they have obtained the franchise to operate in their name. So franchising is also an important model, and in case of franchise is given, a fees is charged. Okay, and the fees may be in term of annual fees or royalties or on the basis of sale. These are decided. Licensing and franchising model. Next model is turnkey projects. What is turnkey project? It is a contractual mode of foreign entry where a foreign company design, build and fully equip a facility in a foreign country and hands it over to the client once the project is complete. Let's take an example. India wants to set up a nuclear reactor. So it can give the contract, turnkey contract, to a Japanese firm. The Japanese firm will design the project, build the operation, fully equip it, facility in India, and once the project is over, it will hand over the project to Indian counterpart. This is known as turnkey project. In this case, the foreign partner execute the project from starting from scratch to end. That is known as turnkey projects. Okay. Next mode of foreign entry is management contract. What is management contract? In this case, the foreign partner do some management work for the Indian partner. Let's take an example. The HR function of the Indian counterpart will be undertaken by a foreign firm. He will recruit the people, or the technology part will be handled by a foreign player. Next, strategic alliance. What is strategic alliance mode? Under this case, the foreign partner enter into any country with the collaboration of a local partner, that is known as strategic alliance. Like in India, there is a alliance between Hero and Honda. Many times, Hero and Honda was a joint venture. Okay, ICICI and Pru, it's a strategic alliance. ICICI and Pru, ICICI Lombard, joint venture model, strategic alliance model. Next, another model of market entry is through FDI model, or foreign direct investment model. What is FDI or foreign direct investment? How market entry can be done with FDI model? We'll discuss. What is FDI? Now, FDI or foreign direct investment is a mode of foreign market entry. It is a popular mode of foreign market entry. In this case, the company establishes a presence in a foreign country by investing in a business or acquiring an existing one. What happens? In case of FDI, what the company does, the foreign company invests in a new business or acquire or purchase an old business or an existing business. If the FDI is form of new business, that is known as green field FDI. What is greenfield FDI? Let's take an example. POSCO wants to set up a steel plant in Odisha. There is no existing steel plant in Odisha at Paradip. POSCO wants to set up a steel plant in Odisha. That is a greenfield FDI. But suppose there is an existing steel company, Steel Authority of India, SAIL, Raurkela steel plant, and POSCO wants to acquire or purchase it. So that will be known as brownfield FDI. So FDI can be greenfield FDI or brownfield FDI. In greenfield FDI, it's time taking, time consuming. In this case, the growth will be organic growth. In case of brownfield FDI, it will be quick, overnight, and the growth will be inorganic growth. So there can be two type of FDI, greenfield FDI, brownfield FDI. Am I clear? FDI, greenfield FDI and brownfield FDI. So FDI may be greenfield or brownfield, or it can be in way of JV. JV means joint venture. There can be another type of FDI, that is through JV, joint venture mode. What is joint venture? There will be venture of two firms. I have given example, two firm, Hero and Honda. It is a form of FDI by a Honda, Maruti and Suzuki. ICICI Lombard, It is a joint venture form of FDI, where the FDI will be in alliance or with a local partner. So FDI can take the following three form: greenfield, brownfield or acquisition mode, or JV mode or joint venture mode. Greenfield investment involves setting up a new operation from scratch, while acquisition involves purchasing of an existing business. Joint ventures are partnership between two or more companies where each contribute capital, asset and expertise to the venture. Am I clear? Three type of FDI: greenfield, brownfield and joint venture. Okay. Next, Next, we will discuss a concept known as country risk assessment and strategy for managing country risk. Whenever there will be foreign direct investment, each such investment is subject to country risk. There is a unique risk attached with foreign direct investment. That risk is known as country risk. What is country risk? Country risk refers to political risk and uncertainties associated with conducting business in a particular country. It is the risk of running business in a country. It is the political risk and uncertainties associated with conducting business in a particular country. Every country's political, economic, social, environmental environments are not equal. They are dynamic, they are changing, and all these things create country risk. The risk include political instability. There will be political instability. We do not know who is the government. The government is changing frequently. The country risk could be more. There might be economic volatility. There will be recession in the country. Interest rates are rising. That is economic volatility. It is a part of country risk. Social unrest. There is strike, lockouts every day. Natural disasters are one type of country risk. Country risk has a significant impact on a company's operation, profitability, and ability to repay debt. So, therefore, before deciding the foreign direct investment in a particular country, the country risk must be analyzed. Country risk has an adverse impact on a country's environment and fund flow of various MNCs to that country. Hence, we have to assess the country risk exposure every time. Before investing, MNC has to make a country risk analysis. Country risk analysis is done periodically and while starting or investing in a new project. So MNC normally done country risk and incorporate it in the international capital budgeting decisions. So country risk is an important risk. So next we will discuss how to measure country risk. Country risk is a complex feature. How to measure it? So before discussing this, let me first tell you, as it is a complex thing, what are the elements of country risk? The elements of country risk can be pastel, political environment, political risk, environmental risk, social risk, technology risk, economic risk, legal risk, pastel. So you have to make a pastel analysis before investing in a country. So what are the pastels? Political risk analysis. First we have to do political risk analysis. What is political risk? How you can, what are the factors you have to consider while analyzing political risk? Okay, the political risk is associated with political events. What are the political events occurring in a country? Like civil unrest. You can see in Bangladesh there is civil unrest. In Sri Lanka there is civil unrest. Terrorism. In Afghanistan there is huge political risk because of terrorism. Government instability. In Pakistan there is government instability. These are the things which improve or increase the political risk of a country. Country's political institutions, political party, who are the political parties involved, what are their narratives? All these things affect the stability of the government and the political risk associated with that country. Next, economic risk, pastel economic, E for economic. We have to analyze the economic stability of the country. There are many macroeconomic variables we have to consider while analyzing the economic risk. First variables may be inflation. What is the inflation rate? What is the foreign currency exchange rate? What is the exchange rate volatility in that country? What is the interest rate prevailing in that country? What is the country's fiscal policies, fiscal deficits, monetary policy of the country, whether the country is adopting expansionary monetary policy or contractionary monetary policy, and many other factors which are necessary for analysis of the country risk, that is economic risk. Next one is socio-cultural risk. What is socio-cultural risk? In this case, we have to analyze the socio-cultural factors prevailing in a country. What are the socio-cultural factors? What is the cultural norm of the country? What is the labor practice of the country? What is the social attitude towards foreign companies? Whether people are tolerant of MNC or not. Environmental risk analysis. This is the most important risk, environmental risk. What is the environment? Natural risk, environment. What is the natural disasters, pollution level of the country, climate change of the country? These are affecting the political risk or country risk of a country. The country risk, there are many combined composite indicators which decide the political risk of a country, like indicators given by PRS, Political Risk Services, indicators given by CPIA, Country Risk Guide, and World Bank's Country Policy and Institutional Assessment. This is a World Bank analysis of country risk of different countries. So in case of FDI, country risk is must, and it must be assessed. Once the country risk is assessed, how to manage the country risk? What are the strategy a company should, MNC should adopt for managing country risk? There are many strategies to mitigate the negative impact of country risk on its operations. First one is negotiating with the host country government. Before putting investment in a country, the MNC normally negotiate with the government, and they want to find out what are the benefits the government can provide to MNC before putting their money. This is negotiation. Okay, so negotiation create an environment that maximize expected return on investment of the and minimizing exposure to political and financial risk. Okay, and all these negotiations are put in important clauses in the investment, like tax holiday provided by the host country government, import policies, remittance policy, local franchising policy, labor regulations policy, IPR policy, dispute resolution policies. These must form a part of investment agreement in a particular country. Next, structuring the investment. Once negotiation is over, you have to structure your investment. While structuring the investment, you have to consider the political risk. You must involve some local player with you. That is local equity involvement. It will provide a insurance to you. Okay. Next, political risk insurance. The company can go for political risk insurance. Many companies are providing political risk like war risk, related risk, terrorism risk, insurrection risk, revolution risk. These are the political risk insurance. World Bank also provide political risk insurance through its sister concern that is known as MIGA Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. It is a World Bank group association. It provides political risk or guarantees for projects in broad range of sectors in developing countries. MIGA was created in 1988 to promote FDI in developing countries, to support economic growth and reduce poverty, improves people's life in developing countries. And next and last strategy adopted by MNCs to manage political risk, that is diversification. What is diversification? Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Do not put all your money in one country. Rather, invest in different countries so that there will be country risk diversification. You have to spread your operation not in one place but throughout the country, throughout different regions of the country. That is known as diversification strategy. Next, we will discuss how to measure political risk. Political risk is must, and political risk components of these following two important factors. There are business environment factors which constitute political risk. There are political environment factors which constitute political risk. Business environment factors are taxation, tariffs, local content requirement, labor regulations, protections of IPR, protectionism, tradition of laws and orders, etc. Political environment includes civil war, corruption level, military and religion politics, racism, ethnic tensions, terrorism. These are the factors affecting political risk. There are many methods to measure political risk. Three important methods are export survey method. First method to measure political risk is export survey method. What is export survey method? In this case, you assemble certain experts, academicians, business leaders, political analysts. They can provide valuable insights to political environment and political risk. This is a survey method of analyzing political risk. Another method of analyzing political risk is quantitative analysis. In this case, you analyze different quantitative variables and use different statistical tools, models to analyze different economic indicators, social indicators, political indicators to calculate a numerical score which will reflect the political risk in a country. And third one is scenario analysis. What is scenario analysis? This is also known as what if analysis. In this case, you analyze different scenarios in which how a country will behave. And this can help you to develop contingency plan and manage political risk. Scenario analysis involves creating hypothetical scenarios, what if, to assess potential impact of political events on a country's operation. So by using these methods or multiple methods, you can assess or measure the country risk and manage it. There are many agencies which provide country risk rankings like Aon Risk Services, Bank of America Country Risk Ability, Business Environment Risk Intelligence, Cofe Group's Political Risk, Don Bradstreet's Political Risk Analysis, Economist Intelligent Units Political Risk Analysis, Euro Money Risk Assessment Index, Institutional Investor Country Credit Ratings, Moody's Country Risk Analysis, OECD Country Economic Surveys, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD Economic Surveys. You can follow it to find out the political risk. S&P Standard and Poor's sovereign debt ratings. You can follow this to find out the political risk associated with a particular country. Okay, what are the factors which influence a country risk? The following are important factors which influence a country's risk or political risk. First one is fiscal irresponsibility. If a country has a huge fiscal deficit, the level of fiscal deficit impacts its political risk or country risk. Monetary instability, controlled exchange rate system. If the exchange rate is controlled, the country is putting restriction on use of exchange rate. Wasteful government spending increase political risk. If you spend a lot on wasteful things like providing subsidies, grants, then a resource base, what is the natural resources available with a country, it affects the political risk. So country risk analysis can be done by international investors. International lenders also analyze country risk. Lender means which provide creditorship capital. They also analyze the country risk associated with a particular country. Okay. Next, protecting the multinationals' competitive advantage. What is competitive advantage? Competitive advantage is also known as firm specific advantage. It refers to asset and capacity of a country that are difficult for competitor to imitate. Like Walmart is the largest retailer of the world. It sources the materials at such a cheaper rate and sell it at such a cheaper rate. No company can imitate or compete with it. These are the unique selling propositions, cost efficiencies, higher profit margins, and other benefits that help the MNC ahead of its competitors. So all MNC try to create competitive advantage. The competitive advantage can be created through the following case: through the use of intellectual property, through strong brand recognition, through economies of scale, through superior product design, through efficient supply chain, through innovations and flexible product process, through strong distribution network, through cost advantage, through effective marketing and advertising strategy, through strong financial position and access to capital, through which competitive advantage is created by MNCs. Creating competitive advantage is one big thing. The next big thing is protecting the competitive advantage. Once the competitive advantage is created, you have to protect it. You have to sustain it for a long period of time. What are the strategy of protecting competitive advantage? So long-term success of a MNC depends upon protecting competitive advantage. The competitive advantage can be protected through intellectual property protection. You can apply for patents, trademark, copyrights, and you protect your IPR so that your competitive advantage is protected. You can protect your competitive advantage through strategic alliances, through alliance with and partners with local partners. A strategic alliance is created. Hero Honda, Maruti Suzuki, they have created competitive advantage with alliance partnership. Through cost leadership, you can produce the product at very low cost, like Chinese firms are obtaining competitive advantage through cost leadership. Through branding and marketing, by creating a brand, loyalty, advertisement, like Apple has a great brand value. And next way of maintaining competitive advantage is continuous innovation. Innovate, and innovate, and design new product. Bring changes to your product. Everyday innovation, small innovations, continuous innovation can keep you competitive in the market for a long period of time. Next, we will discuss what are the benefits and cost of MNCs or cost of FDI to a host country. Now, please see what are the benefits of FDI to a host country. When a FDI comes to a country, it creates job. So, job creation is the first benefit of FDI. The job can be created in a direct way or indirect way. So job creation may be direct jobs or indirect jobs. Direct jobs means jobs in the particular company. Indirect jobs means jobs in ancillary industries. When FDI comes into a country, it brings technology and skills. So there will be transfer of technology and skills. This is the second benefit of FDI to a host country. MNC can bring new technology, new management practices to host country. When Japanese firm enter into US market, they bring new management techniques like just in time, Six Sigma, Kaizen practices to US markets. There will be transfer of technology and skill. And it will improve BOP position of the host country because MNC will bring funds to a host country. MNC will bring competitive export competitiveness. MNC will reduce imports of the host country, as a result of which BOP position will be improved of the host country. Next, MNC has an effect on competition and economic growth of the country. When FDI comes to a country, it brings competition, it brings economic growth. MNC will provide tax revenue to host country government. Okay, host country government will get major tax revenues from MNCs. Next, infrastructure development. MNC invest a huge in infrastructure development of the host country. They bring new roads, new expand telecommunication networks, which can help for economic development of a country. These are the benefits of foreign direct investment. Next, what are the cost of FDI? What are the cost, demerits of FDI? Now, the FDI has some cost and benefits. So we have already discussed benefits of foreign direct investment to host country. Now we will discuss what are the cost of foreign direct investment, okay, to host country. Cost, first, MNC may affect the sovereignty of the country. Many African countries, political decisions are taken by MNCs. They invest a lot, but they play a role in your political affairs. They change the rules, regulations of your country in such a way that it will help them to make money from your country. So you may lose sovereignty of your country if you are much more dependent upon MNCs or FDI. Next, MNC bring competition to local farms. In many cases, they kill the local farms. They wipe out competition from domestic market. When Pepsi and Coca-Cola come into India, they kill all other local soft drink makers. They capture 95% of Indian market. So domestic, the MNCs kill domestic competition. FDI kill domestic competition. Next, resource depletion. Due to FDI, the MNC will come into your country. They material seeker MNCs, raw material seeker MNCs. They will use the natural resources of the host country indefinitely. Okay, they will extract as much as possible, like mining based MNCs, oil exploration based MNC. Their main motive is to explore, deplete the resources of the host country. MNC may create environmental damage as the environmental standards in host country is not much stringent than home country. MNC come to host country and cause huge environmental damage to air quality, damage to wildlife, damage to many other environmental issues. They create environmental issues in host country. Adverse effect of FDI on a host country's BOP. You know that MNC bring money. They affect the BOP position of the country positively in initial years. But once the MNC is established, in the name of royalty, in the name of license fee, in the name of dividends, in the name of many other ways, they extract the profit generated from the host country to home country. So it results in outflow of foreign currency. So it affects the BOP position of the host country in long term, in long run. These are the demerits of MNC. So we have discussed today international financial management in entry modes and country risk assessment. Next, these are the important questions based upon this. What are the questions? Why the firm sorts the following category to become MNC? Why firms becomes multinational companies? Compare and contrast of different entry modes of international business. We have discussed the two important entry modes, exporting and contractual entry. Discuss the benefit and cost of FDI to host country and home country. Just we have discussed what are the benefits and cost of FDI. Then define country risk. We have discussed country risk and compare the exposure to country risk faced by an exporter, franchisor, licensor, foreign direct investors. We have discussed and how country risk can be measured and mitigated. These are the and how is the IBM, Apple bring competitive advantage related to becoming multinational firm. We have already discussed all these questions and these are certain suggested ratings for knowing more on this chapter. Thank you. Thank you for attending my class today. Thank you. Thank you all.